Trying to remember, but yeah, at some point, I'm trying to remember when I met Carabeth. She came to go to school here in Davis, and I met her through Steve. She used to go out to that ramp at Dean Yamada's. So I remember the first time I met her, I think was out there probably.
Okay.
And yeah, we used to skate out there, and then yeah, at some point I think I needed a house. I had a room. Somebody was moving out, and I needed to find somebody. And Carabeth was looking for a place. I'm like, oh, move in here. so that was a lot of fun. She was just skating a lot. She was really into snowboarding. She and her friend Patty used to work up in Truckee. I'm trying to remember which. I don't remember which resort they were at up there, but anyway, they were living up there and just like snowboarding all the time. And then she was down here studying and stuff. Yeah, that was
cool.
But we were housemates for probably a year or so, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Ron and I put this zine together, and we did that. The Davis Skate Contest was we put that on. That was like more Ron and Jeff Clint, I think, maybe at that point.
Tell us about
it. Airs. And then Ron's down there too, and yeah, that's the first time I ever saw anybody do a layback air. He was layback airs and ollie pops. That's what I
That's cool.
I remember him doing those.
This is from the Davis contest here?
That's the Davis contest right there. I think that was probably 86 maybe.
Wow. That's awesome. This article was by Ron?
Yeah. I got to find some more pictures. I had, I don't know, I'm not very organized. I've got stuff in boxes everywhere.
Oh, this is great.
But yeah, that's I think that's Todd. Yeah, Todd Harris. He passed away.
Todd, Dan F.
Dan Fries, James Jordan, Tim Lane.
May have to get my other one.
Or something, but...
putting that on and the events itself.
Gosh, that was so long ago. I hardly... Ron and I think maybe Steve Bryant and Jeff... I think they did more of it. It was like... I was working retail at that point, so it was like...
Was it something where they sat down and all decided they were
these
things, and you all were involved in making it, or...
Yeah, I don't even remember how it came together. It was just like one of those things. Let's have a contest.
Okay.
And yeah, everybody was into street skating. I remember. I think somebody found some like parking blocks and brought them, and there was like a little launch ramp and stuff like that.
You remember who all competed? People you remember being there?
I couldn't. Gosh, I think Chuck Smith from Woodland, Todd Harris, James Jordan, I believe. My little brother John, he was in it. I think probably Tim and Cody. I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Remember what kind of the tricks they were doing? Describe any of those with the kind of boards?
Lots of action on the launch ramp. Ollie 50-50 on the parking blocks. Going and doing like a boneless off a garbage. They have these like big concrete garbage cans.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's,
cans,
Their hand plants.
Yeah, hand plants definitely. Ollies. I remember Ron. So Ron's thing. He was just like the ollie king. He would. I don't know how many people he could ollie over, but remember him ollieing over, like, it seems like it was like 10, 11 kids. They just like line up, just lay down on the ground, and I think he went and did a few passes, added like somebody at the end of the line, and I don't remember how many it was, but I remember him doing that out there.
Oh man. So you guys skated the Woodland Ditch, and what ramps did they have there in Woodland that you recall?
So I don't remember what year it was. Probably 85, 86 maybe. Steve Bryant funded. He wanted a big ramp to skate. I'm trying to think. I don't know that there were any like big half pipes really around at that time. There was my friend Chuck in Woodland. He had a ramp, and I remember Steve coming out and skating that. And at some point, like, Steve fronted the money to build this ramp in this kid James's backyard in Woodland. I take that back. It was actually it's this other guy Mike's house and in his backyard. So yeah, Steve paid for this thing. It was like I think it was 12 feet wide and probably like 10 feet tall, something like that. And so that thing was going on for a while, and everybody used to skate that. Gosh, I can't remember who all used to go out there, but definitely Steve and Ron and Sam, I believe, and a few other kids. I can't remember.
He was still in Woodland at that time.
So that was the first location of what became known as the Epic Ramp, and so at some point the guy's girlfriend was like, it was her house, and so she's like, you got to get this thing out of here. I don't want this in my backyard and all these kids coming over here all the time or something like that. And so we had to find a new home, and then that's when it ended up at James Jordan's house. And oh man, it was, Steve and I were just texting yesterday about how sketchy that whole ramp move thing was. I think we like broke it into sections, the transitions, and put them on this. I don't even know where what truck we used to move it anyway. So James lived on Gibson Road in Woodland, which is like this 4-lane, big street.
Yeah.
So we were like, the hazard blinkers going like down the street with these like big transitions, and somehow got everything in the backyard, and I lived there for a few years. I can't remember how long, but yeah, that was the Epic Ramp. I think it was a little bit wider at that point. I think when it was put back together, Steve added like 4 feet onto it, so it was 16 foot. And yeah, I remember everybody coming out there and skating.
When did it eventually end up at Dean Yamada's?
Okay, so I think the Epic Ramp lasted till 87 maybe, and then Dean Yamada's was probably just after that, maybe late 87, 88, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. And I don't even remember how wide that might have been like 24 feet. So, it actually had a channel in it and a couple of different sections, probably 2 feet of vert maybe on the higher section, something like that.
I'll just have you explain it.
Yeah, so this is the epic ramp. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about the fact that there's this was the original article about the epic ramp, and then in the last issue, I think was like, oh, the epic ramp is dust.
Where was the epic ramp?
So this was in this kid James Jordan's backyard in Woodland on Gibson Street.
Okay. This is
so imagine like cutting taking this in sections on the back of a pickup over to this house and like reassembling it because it had to be moved. It was 12 feet wide originally. I see.
And this later became the South Davis ramp.
Yeah, I think the South Davis ramp was a whole new ramp.
Oh, really?
So yeah, after this one bit the dust, then